It seems that the only evidence people have to prove Vegeta's ability to gain Ultra Instinct actually isn't about his abilities at all. They say it's because Goku has only shown the blue aura around him so far, when the picture of Limit Breaker Goku has both blue and red. But how does that have anything to do with Vegeta? I need my anime family, the Anifam, to watch the story of their favorite anime with headphones or speakers with bass for full effect. His punches burn, but that's exactly what Vegeta wants. If Goku can get Ultra Instinct, then Vegeta knows that he can too. And if getting punched 1,000 times is what it takes to awaken it, then Vegeta will gladly stand there defenseless as he takes each blow. But when not even a hint of being able to dodge comes, Vegeta decides it's over. Dodging feels pointless to him anyway. But did you notice the confidence Vegeta had when he gave up on getting Ultra Instinct? It was different than Vegeta's normal response to once again being one step behind Goku. This same confidence has shown itself multiple times throughout the show, and it turns out that it's been revealing a secret to you about Vegeta this entire time. Despite his recent failure to reach Ultra Instinct, this proves that he actually didn't fail at all. How is this possible? Some people give the excuse that it's because Vegeta always follows in Goku's footsteps to eventually gain the same power. This isn't that great of an answer though, but recently, something happened that gave these people a better reason for believing in a Vegeta Ultra Instinct. Goku's punch barely left a scratch on Kefla. The Universe 7 team members watching could barely believe their eyes. They already knew how terrifying the power of a fused warrior could be, but this was on a whole new level. Just how tough was this girl? But then, we said no. She may be extremely strong, that much was certainly true, but that wasn't the reason she hadn't been hurt at all. We stated that the problem actually was this: Goku's punches just weren't effective. Unfortunately, he hadn't even come close to mastering the other half of Ultra Instinct. Wait, the other half? Finding out that there was both a defensive side and an offensive side to Ultra Instinct gave Vegeta fans a more worthy reason to say this technique is realistically an option for him. But have you ever asked yourself why? What facts do these people have that make them so sure that Vegeta can get it? It seems that the only evidence people have to prove Vegeta's ability to gain Ultra Instinct actually isn't about his abilities at all. They say it's because Goku has only shown the blue aura around him so far, when the picture of Limit Breaker Goku has both blue and red. But how does that have anything to do with Vegeta? Consider that when Toriyama was deciding on the color for Goku's new transformation after Super Saiyan God, he said that blue was the perfect color because it's peaceful, just like Goku. Vegeta has always been the Saiyan with a more hateful, evil nature, and the color that has always shown evil is red. So honestly, it does make sense for Goku to have the more peaceful, blue avoidant side of Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta to have the more aggressive, red attacking side of it. But you know what? That's still not a good enough answer for the Anifam. Here are the real reasons why Vegeta already has the attack half of Ultra Instinct, and how he will soon awaken it. It was just proven to you in yesterday's video that Goku has been training his body to prepare himself for Ultra Instinct since literally episode 5 of the series, and in the same way they foreshadowed it with him, they actually have also been foreshadowing it with Vegeta as well. Vegeta sighed, "Here we go again. Kakarot will have all the fun, while I just sit back and watch as he surpasses me again." Vegeta put his hand on Goku's back. His body got warmer as he turned Super Saiyan. Vegeta couldn't feel the wood of the ship's deck under his feet anymore. The power surging through him flowed out of him to Goku, and when Vegeta felt his feet touch the ground again, he opened his eyes. What he saw filled him with excitement, but also more frustration. Vegeta had learned to accept that Goku had surpassed him, although that was something he would never admit to out loud. But now, looking at his rival standing there with red hair and eyes, Vegeta couldn't help but want that power too. What did God power feel like? Goku looked so happy. This feeling of not being able to understand what Goku's increased level of power actually felt like was something Vegeta had almost grown to expect. But this time, it was slightly different, and that small difference from the norm was almost too much for Vegeta to handle. But without this feeling, Vegeta never would have achieved Ultra Instinct. While Goku had usually had more help than Vegeta to reach higher levels, this time, that help had been mandatory. According to Shenron, using the help of 5 other Saiyans was the only way to become a Super Saiyan God. This gave Vegeta absolutely no hope to achieve it, but he thought about it harder. He had always found a way to rise to Goku's level at some point through his training alone, and so Vegeta swore to once again find his own way to reach Super Saiyan God without anyone's help but his own. But as time passed, Vegeta's frustrations grew, while at the same time, his hopes started to disappear. He continuously trained his body to get stronger and stronger, but he still hadn't figured it out. Vegeta was starting to believe that Shenron had been right. There was really only one possible way to reach that god level, and he knew he would never get the help that was needed to achieve it. But then one day, Vegeta finally received a solution to his problem, and the person who provided the answer was also the one to open the gates for Vegeta to learn Ultra Instinct. Whis had noticed that Vegeta had physically gotten much stronger. However, Whis knew that Vegeta had two ultimate goals. His explanation to Vegeta was that his first goal of defeating Beerus would never be reached by this type of training. While it was important to build up his physical strength, this alone would never be enough, but he could achieve his second goal if he took a word of advice. If Vegeta learned to control his energy, he could finally surpass Goku. Vegeta couldn't believe what he was hearing. Thought of actually being on top flashed through his mind. What a wonderful feeling it was to actually be able to brag to Kakarot, to have him trying to no end to achieve Vegeta's powers, and always failing. Vegeta had no other choice. If controlling his ki is what it took, then there was only one person that could train him. He bargained with Whis a deal to be his teacher. With his introduction to Earth's best food, ramen, Whis took Vegeta under his wing. Vegeta was about to learn that the key to the highest level of power, and something needed to learn Ultra Instinct, was great control of his energy. After Goku had also come to Beerus' planet to train under Whis, the two Saiyans were thrown into a space full of the heavy pressure of a god's energy. The two were completely paralyzed. How strong Beerus must be to be able to handle this pressure all the time. But then Vegeta did something that seemed out of character. He closed his eyes and relaxed. He stopped trying to resist all that pressure, and suddenly he was free. He opened his eyes to find Goku still struggling to move. Vegeta had been the first to figure out something Beerus had learned long ago to allow him to take the pressure of God Ki. And finally, it was Vegeta helping Goku reach a higher level. Vegeta explained that he had to increase his energy and then control it. Wasn't this the one thing Whis had told him he needed to learn to finally surpass Goku? Now the pieces are starting to fit together. The strongest beings in the show have a couple of things in common. One of them is that they all have something needed to handle the power Ultra Instinct provides, and that is very high levels of energy. This idea was confirmed by Beerus in episode 109. Jiren had finally decided to fight Goku, and to prove his strength to everyone around, Jiren let his energy flow out. The pressure reached into the stands. Beerus' face was full of fear as he asked if this was really the energy of only one fighter. This moment proved to you that the strongest fighters also have the highest amount of energy. This is an important concept that you need to remember for later. As soon as Vegeta explained how to deal with the pressure, Goku also closed his eyes. Now, they were both free to move. But Vegeta had noticed that there was something familiar to this space. Goku also had noticed that it felt hard to breathe in here. They both smiled as they agreed. This was the same feeling as inside the hyperbolic time chamber. But did you notice how awkward that moment had been? What had been the point of them realizing this fact? Just to smile about it for a good 3 seconds, and then change the subject immediately. No one could have known it back then, but they were foreshadowing something important about the coming of Vegeta Ultra Instinct. But suddenly, they received a call for help from Earth. Frieza had gotten so much stronger, but it seemed to Vegeta that he hadn't gotten any smarter. Did Frieza really expect to find Goku with the same power level as the last time they had met? What wasn't shocking to Vegeta though, was watching Frieza's excitement grow at the sight of a Super Saiyan Blue Goku. But did you pick up on who else seemed to be excited? Surprisingly, it was Vegeta. He didn't care that Goku had just powered up into this brand new, awesome form that no one had ever seen before. In fact, even Goku picked up on this change in attitude. He looked down at a smirking Vegeta, and a smile came across his own face. So that was why Vegeta didn't seem impressed. This exact moment of Vegeta's confidence shining through without his normal jealous tendencies was later repeated during the Tournament of Power. Shockingly, it was soon after Goku had first achieved Ultra Instinct. But Goku got too cocky, and it almost cost him his life. Now it was Vegeta's turn to step in and prove that he was also a worthy opponent. Frieza couldn't believe that Vegeta was actually trying to beat him, especially after seeing Goku fail right in front of him. Vegeta had been hiding a secret though, and the time had come to reveal what Goku had picked up on earlier. He too could achieve Super Saiyan Blue. Even Goku pointed out that Vegeta had reached this level that surpassed the level of Super Saiyan God without any help at all. Vegeta had finally done it. He had kept his sworn promise to himself that he would achieve the same God power that Goku now had. but he would do it on his own. He finally could feel the calm energy of a god flowing through his veins. This was the moment he had waited so long for and had trained so hard to get. It was greater than he had ever expected it to be. Hopefully, you're starting to understand how this moment, compared to the moment from the Tournament of Power mentioned to you earlier, is evidence that Vegeta has already obtained Ultra Instinct for himself. But if it's not, then what happened just before the Tournament of Power will connect some of the dots for you. He saw a picture of his family in his head, Bulma smiling after just having their first daughter, Trunks figuring out how to be a big brother, the bright smile of his newborn child. But then he cringed. The thought of his universe erased weighed heavy on Vegeta's mind, his wife and children slowly disappearing until they were nothing. They wouldn't be able to be brought back from the afterlife. There wouldn't even be an afterlife if they had been erased. Vegeta couldn't let this nightmare become reality. Achieving God power through Super Saiyan Blue was everything Vegeta had been working towards, but now it seemed pathetic. Vegeta had no idea what types of fighters he was about to encounter, and he wasn't foolish enough to think that the possibility didn't exist of there being someone even stronger than the God level he had finally reached. The only thing to do was to train, but there was so little time. How could he become strong enough in these conditions? Thankfully, there was one place he was very familiar with that could guarantee the time that he was searching for, and it was a place that will finally give you an answer to these two questions from this video. Why was it important for Vegeta to learn that he needed to both increase his energy plus control it to be able to move in the heavy pressure of God Ki? And what was the point of Vegeta and Goku realizing that the space felt the same as inside the hyperbolic time chamber, just to have them awkwardly smile and then move on to a different subject? Answering both of these questions will provide you with one of the biggest hints of Vegeta's rise to Ultra Instinct. Vegeta returned to the hyperbolic time chamber. What hint did this provide?